But I just wanted to land on burnout for a moment, because burnout is not just a statistic for me. Burnout is my story. And I've suffered from burnout a couple of times in my humanitarian work. I was just doing a podcast with Talitha, and she said, so how do you protect yourself against burnout? And I'm like, well, I've burnt out 3 times. So that's why I'm passionate about talking about it. So when I was working as a nurse in 2019, I had a whole lot of stuff going on in my personal life. We had that year 5 different tragedies that affected our family. I had a toddler at home who was basically teething non-stop. And I also had my mother-in-law who was in aged care. So I had a lot of things that were already going on before I even got to work. And so we've mentioned that again today, that, it's not just about what's happening in the workplace, it's what's happening at home. And we're all part of family systems, we're all part of bigger life that goes on outside of the workplace. And so what we bring to the workplace is just as important. So my bucket was already full. And then in Christmas of that year, we lost my mother-in-law, and I was nursing 3 separate families, all of whom lost their mum who was around the same age as me. And each time that I looked after one of those mums, a little piece of myself also died with that person. But the last straw was in January when I was looking after this family. The mum was about my age, her little boys are about the same age as my 2 girls. And I left work one day thinking that would be the last time that I would see her. And then I came back to work 3 or 4 days later and she was still alive. And her mum said, she wants you here for her boys. She's been waiting for you. Well, sure enough, she did pass that day. And her little boys were at the swimming carnival with their dad. And when they arrived at the hospital, I took them off into a waiting room. I asked them, did they want to draw a picture for their mum? And they both drew a picture of a giraffe because that was their mum's favourite animal. And the little boy kept asking, what time did mummy die? What time did mummy die? And I said to him, why is that important? And he said, because I want to know if mummy was already an angel and watched me win my race at the swimming carnival. And so I crouched down and I looked into his little brown eyes and I said, sweetheart, your mummy was cheering with all the angels in heaven and watching you win your race. But at that moment, my own heart broke into 1,000 pieces. That was my tipping point. And, I should have gone to EAP. I didn't. I should have reached out for help, but I didn't. And, I know that we've been talking a lot about EAP and the pros and cons, but, really when somebody is in that kind of deep psychological distress, we really need to be seeking professional support.